Welcome to our video on commonly confused words. Today, we'll clarify the meanings and uses of some pairs that often trip people up. Let's get started. 1. Accept versus accept. Accept verb, to receive or agree to something. Example, she decided to accept the job offer. Accept preposition, excluding, not including. Example, everyone was invited except John. 2. Access versus excess. Access noun or verb, the ability to enter or approach something. Example, you need a password to access the file. Excess noun, an amount that is more than necessary. Example, there was an excess of food at the party. 3. Adapt versus adopt. Adapt verb, to adjust or modify. Example, animals must adapt to their environment. Adopt verb, to take up or start to use. Example, they decided to adopt a child. 4. Addition versus addition. Addition noun, the process of adding something. Example, the new addition to the house is beautiful. Addition noun, a particular version of a published text. Example, I bought the latest edition of the magazine. 5. Affect versus effect. Affect verb, to influence. Example, the news can affect public opinion. Effect noun, the result of a change. Example, the effect of the new policy was immediate. 6. Ail versus ail. Ail verb, to suffer or feel pain. Example, what ails you today? Ale noun, a type of beer. Example, he ordered a pint of ale. 7. Allowed versus allowed. Allowed adjective, given permission. Example, you are allowed to use the computer. Allowed adverb, spoken out loud. Example, she read the poem aloud to the class. 8. Allude versus elude. Allude verb, to refer to something indirectly. Example, he alluded to his past experiences in the speech. Elude verb, to escape notice or capture. Example, the thief managed to elude the police. 9. Allusion versus allusion. Allusion noun, an indirect reference. Example, the poem contains an allusion to mythology. Illusion noun, a false perception or belief. Example, the magician created an illusion of disappearing. 10. Altar versus altar. Altar noun, a table or flat surface used in religious rituals. Example, the couple exchange vows at the altar. Alter verb, to change or modify. Example, she decided to alter her dress for the event. 11. Altogether versus altogether. Altogether adverb, completely or entirely. Example, altogether, it was a successful event. Altogether phrase, in a group or at the same time. Example, let's meet all together for dinner. 12. Assent versus assent. Assent noun or verb, agreement or approval. Example, she gave her assent to the proposal. Assent noun, the act of rising or climbing. Example, the ascent to the mountain was challenging. 13. Assure versus ensure. Assure verb, to promise or say something confidently. Example, I assure you that everything will be fine. Ensure verb, to make certain that something will happen. Example, please ensure that the door is locked. 14. Averse versus adverse. Averse adjective, having a strong dislike. Example, she is averse to taking risks. Adverse adjective, harmful or unfavorable. Example, the adverse weather conditions delayed the flight. 15. A while versus a while. A while adverb, for a short time. Example, please wait a while before you leave. A while noun phrase, a period of time. Example, it has been a while since we met. 16. Bare versus bare. Bare adjective, lacking covering. Example, the tree was bare in winter. Bare verb, to carry or endure. Example, she couldn't bear the pain any longer. 17. Base versus bass. Base noun, the bottom support of something. Example, the base of the statue is made of marble. Bass noun, a type of fish. Also refers to low-frequency sounds. Example, he caught a large bass in the lake. 18. Beside versus besides. Beside preposition, next to. Example, the book is beside the lamp. Besides adverb, in addition to. Example, besides studying, he plays sports. 19. Biannual versus biennial. Biennial adjective, occurring twice a year. Example, the conference is biannual. Biennial adjective, occurring every 2 years. Example, the festival is a biennial event. 20. Breathe versus breath. Breathe verb, to take air in and out. Example, it's important to breathe deeply when relaxed. Breath noun, the air taken in or expelled. Example, she took a deep breath before speaking. 21. Bridal versus bridal. Bridal adjective, related to a bride or wedding. Example, she wore a beautiful bridal gown. Bridle noun, a harness for a horse. Also a verb meaning to restrain. Example, he put the bridle on the horse. 22. Canvas versus canvas. Canvas noun, a fabric used for painting. Example, she painted a landscape on canvas. Canvas verb, to solicit votes or opinions. Example, they will canvass the neighborhood for support. 23. Capital versus capital. Capital noun, a city where a government is based. Money for investment. Example, London is the capital of England. Capital noun, a building where lawmakers meet. Example, the Capitol Dome is iconic. 24. Censure versus censor. Censure verb, to express disapproval. Example, the committee decided to censure the member for misconduct. Censor verb, to suppress or edit content. Example, the government may censor certain books. 25. Cereal versus cereal. Cereal noun, a common breakfast food. Example, I have cereal with milk every morning. Cereal adjective, occurring in a series. Example, the serial killer was apprehended by the police. 26. Chord versus chord. Chord noun, a group of notes played together. Example, she played a G major chord on the guitar. Chord noun, a long, thin, flexible material. Example, he tied the package with a cord. 27. Chose versus choose. Chose verb, past tense of choose. Example, she chose the blue dress for the party. Choose verb, to select from options. Example, I will choose a book to read. 28. Cite versus cite versus cite. Cite verb, to quote or reference. Example, you need to cite your sources in the paper. Cite noun, a location or place. Example, the construction site is busy. Cite noun, the ability to see. Example, the sight of the sunset was breathtaking. 29. Climactic versus climatic. Climactic adjective, relating to the climax or most intense point. Example, the movie's climactic scene was thrilling. Climatic adjective, relating to climate. Example, the region's climatic conditions affect agriculture. 30. Coarse versus coarse. Coarse adjective, rough or crude texture. Example, the fabric was too coarse for my skin. Coarse noun, a direction or path. A class. Example, she enrolled in a cooking course. 31. Collaborate versus corroborate. Collaborate verb, to work together on a project. Example, they decided to collaborate on a research paper. Corroborate verb, to confirm or support with evidence. Example, his testimony corroborates her account. 32. Complement versus complement. Complement noun, something that completes. Example, the wine is a complement to the meal. Compliment noun, a polite expression of praise. Example, she received a compliment on her dress. 33. Complementary versus complementary. Complementary adjective, completing. Enhancing. Example, the colors are complementary to each other. Complementary adjective, expressing praise. Free of charge. Example, the hotel offers complimentary breakfast. 34. Comprise versus compose. Comprise verb, to consist of. Example, the team comprises 5 members. Compose verb, to make up or create. Example, she will compose a new song. 35. Conscience versus conscious. Conscience noun, an inner sense of right and wrong. Example, his conscience bothered him after the decision. Conscious adjective, aware and awake. Example, she was conscious during the procedure. 36. Continual versus continuous. Continual adjective, repeated frequently but with breaks. Example, the continual noise from the construction was annoying. Continuous adjective, uninterrupted over time. Example, the continuous flow of water is soothing. 37. Council versus council. Council noun. A group of people convened for advice or decision-making. Example, the city council will meet next week. Counsel noun or verb, advice or guidance. Example, she sought counsel from her mentor. 38. Current versus currant. Currant noun, a small dried fruit. Example, I added currants to the cake. Current adjective or noun, happening now. Flow of water or electricity. Example, the current situation is challenging. 39. Desert versus desert. Desert noun, a dry arid region. Example, the Sahara is a vast desert. Dessert noun, a sweet course served after a meal. Example, chocolate cake is my favorite dessert. 40. Detract versus distract. Detract verb, to take away from the worth of something. Example, his comments did not detract from her achievements. Distract verb, to divert attention. Example, the noise outside distracted the students. 41. Device versus devise. Device noun, a tool or gadget. Example, the smartphone is a useful device. Devise verb, to create or plan something. Example, they will devise a new marketing strategy. 42. Discreet versus discreet. Discreet adjective, careful in speech or action. Example, she was discreet about her plans. Discreet adjective, separate or distinct. Example, there are discrete steps to follow. 43. Disinterested versus uninterested. Disinterested adjective, impartial or unbiased. Example, the disinterested judge made a fair ruling. Uninterested adjective, having no interest. Example, she was uninterested in the topic. 44. Dual versus dual. Dual adjective, consisting of two parts. Example, he has a dual citizenship. Dual noun, a formal fight between two people. Example, they settled their dispute with a duel. 45. Eager versus anxious. Eager adjective, looking forward to something with excitement. Example, she was eager to start her new job. Anxious adjective, experiencing worry or unease. Example, he felt anxious before the exam. 46. Effect versus affect. Effect noun, a result or outcome. Example, the new policy had a positive effect. Affect verb, to influence. Example, the weather can affect your mood. 47. Illicit versus illicit. Illicit verb, to draw out a response. Example, the quiz was designed to elicit feedback. Illicit adjective, forbidden by law. Example, they were caught in an illicit affair. 48. Emigrate versus immigrate. Emigrate verb, to leave one's country to live in another. Example, they decided to emigrate to Canada. Immigrate verb, to come into a new country to live. Example, she plans to immigrate to the United States. 49. Eminent versus imminent. Eminent adjective, famous and respected. Example, she is an eminent scholar in her field. Imminent adjective, about to happen. Example, a storm is imminent. 50. Ensure versus insure. Ensure verb, to make certain. Example, please ensure you have your tickets. Insure verb, to protect financially against loss. Example, he decided to insure his car. 51. Envelop versus envelope. Envelop verb, to cover or surround completely. Example, the fog will envelop the town. Envelope noun, a flat paper container for a letter. Example, she sealed the letter in an envelope. 52. Fair versus fair. Fair adjective, treating people equally. Just. Example, she made a fair decision. Fair noun, the price paid for travel. Also means to get along. Example, the bus fare is $2. 53. Farther versus further. Farther adjective, referring to physical distance. Example, the store is farther away than I thought. Further adjective, referring to figurative distance or degree. Example, we need to discuss this further. 54. Phase versus phase. Phase verb, to disturb or disconcert. Example, the loud noise did not faze her. Phase noun, a stage in a process. Example, we are entering a new phase of development. 55. Fewer versus less. Fewer adjective, used with countable nouns. Example, there are fewer students in class today. Less adjective, used with uncountable nouns. Example, I have less time than I thought. 56. Formally versus formerly. Formally adverb, in a formal manner. Example, he was formally invited to the event. Formerly adverb, in the past. Previously. Example, she was formerly a teacher. 57. Fourth versus fourth. Fourth adverb, out into view. Example, the sun came forth after the rain. Fourth adjective or noun, the number 4 in a sequence. Example, she finished in 4th place. 58. Gild versus gild. Gild verb, to cover with a thin layer of gold. Example, they decided to gild the picture frame. Gild noun, an association of craftsmen or merchants. Example, the guild supports local artists. 59. Grate versus grate. Grate verb, to shred food into small pieces. Example, please grate the cheese for the pasta. Grate adjective, of high quality or significance. Example, she did a great job on the project. 60. Hail versus hail. Hail noun or verb, frozen precipitation or to salute. Example, hail fell heavily during the storm. Hail adjective, healthy, vigorous. Example, the hale old man still hikes every week. 61. Historic versus historical. Historic adjective, important in history. Example, the signing of the treaty was a historic event. Historical adjective, related to history. Example, she studies historical documents. 62. Hoard versus hoard. Hoard verb, to accumulate for future use. Example, he tends to hoard old newspapers. Hoard noun, a large group or crowd. Example, a horde of fans gathered outside. 63. Humorous versus humorous. Humorous noun, a bone in the upper arm. Example, the humerus connects to the shoulder. Humorous adjective, funny or entertaining. Example, his humorous anecdotes made everyone laugh. 64. Immigrate versus emigrate. Immigrate verb, to come into a new country to live. Example, they plan to immigrate to Canada. Emigrate verb, to leave one's country to live in another. Example, she decided to emigrate after finishing school. 65. Imply versus infer. Imply verb, to suggest without explicitly stating. Example, his tone seemed to imply he was unhappy. Infer verb, to deduce or conclude from evidence. Example, from her silence, I inferred she was upset. 66. Incite versus insight. Incite verb, to provoke or stir up. Example, the speech was meant to incite the crowd to action. Insight noun, understanding or awareness. Example, the book provided great insight into human behavior. 67. Incredible versus incredulous. Incredible adjective, difficult to believe. Extraordinary. Example, the magician's tricks were incredible. Incredulous adjective, unwilling to believe something. Example, she gave him an incredulous look. 68. Interval versus intervals. Interval noun, a period of time between events. Example, there was a 10-minute interval between the two acts. Intervals noun, more than one period of time between events. Example, the workout included several intervals of intense exercise. 69. Its versus theirs. Its pronoun, possessive form of it. Example, the cat chased its tail. Theirs pronoun, possessive form of they. Example, the house is theirs now. 70. Lay versus lie. Lay verb, to put down requires a direct object. Example, please lay the book on the table. Lie verb, to recline does not take a direct object. Example, I need to lie down for a nap.
Thank you for watching part 1 of our exploration of commonly confused words in English. We've covered the first 70 pairs. Stay tuned, because in part 2 we will continue with 50 more pairs of confused words. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you won't miss part 2. See you soon.